Good morning, friends. This is Reverend Margaret Hiller at Unity Myrtle Beach. We are located off of Highway 707 on Salem Road near St. James High School. And we are making everything wonderful for your arrival. The musicians are here practicing. The pavilion is nice and cool. The birds are singing. The bees are buzzing. And we are looking forward to seeing you. My message today is taken from the book You Are the Placebo, and it's based on the book by Dr. Joe Dispenza. Everything you think, everything you feel, everything you interpret, your perspective, everything is a part of your inner world.
We're not apart from humanity, because we're one people, one planet, one song, universe. We're part of humanity. We're not apart from humanity, because we're one people. One planet, one song, universe. Sing part of humanity. We're not apart from humanity, because we're one people, one planet, one song, universe. Part of humanity. We're not apart from humanity, because we're one people, one planet, one song, universe. We're all part of humanity. We're not apart from humanity, because we're one people, one planet, one song, universe. Come on and sing with us. Sing, 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 because we're one people, one planet, one song, universe. One people, one planet, one song, universe. Get it? Beauty is one, verse is one, so the universe is like one big song, right? The one big song the universe sings.
Universal universe verses.
Good morning, and welcome to Unity Myrtle Beach here at Salem Road.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to everybody out there on Facebook. It's a beautiful day here, and we're ready to go.
Amen.
My reading for this morning is personal to me, but probably to many others out there. It's from Daily Word back in April, and it's on healing. I trust my body, mind, and soul to carry me through life. In prayer, I claim health for each one and unity among them all. I open my mind and heart to the possibility that my healing may take a different form from someone else's, and I make room for new and higher outcomes than I ever saw before. I am a whole and complete expression of God. I exercise my individuality, fully embracing my unique spirit and knowing I am exactly who I came here to be. I eat right, stretch my mind and body, and relax. I also thoroughly explore every avenue to full self-expression. I am healed, restored to full awareness of wholeness. I remain committed to healthful living as I express my divine nature.
Amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
And now the Unity Music Team will perform a song written by Jesus Hernandez, My Circle of Love.
And this is his debut as a singer. The singer-songwriter today. 2 of the songs today are Jesus's. Okay.
Christ, I see you in sunny skies. Christ, I see you in all night. Christ, I see you on the breeze. I place all my circle of love. Christ, I hear you in falling rain. Christ, I hear you in mercy cry. Christ, I hear you in children's laughter. I embrace all my circle ground. It's on you, I sense you everywhere. Light expands to fill my world. I know you're always next to me. All is one, my circle of love. All is one, my circle of love. Christ, your scent is fresh mountain air. Christ, your scent is a crowded stream. Christ, your scent is a flower's bloom. I praise all my circle of love. Christ, your taste is sweet as honey. Christ, your taste is bitter and green. Christ, your taste is joy and tears. I praise all my circle of love. In my circle, there are no limits. Boundary fades as it ever flows. I know you're always next to me. All is one, my circle of love. All is one, my circle of love. As your touches, soft heavy kisses. As your touches, cold winter's eyes. As your touches, a warm hand. I praise all my circle of love. Christ, your God's guide, my strong will. Christ, your God's care for the lost. Christ, your God's hope for world peace. I praise all my circle of love. The great expanses beyond the infinite. There is silence beyond the clouds. There's a radiance there in you. All is one, my circle of love. All is one, my circle of love.
Thank you, Unity Music Team. And now it is time for the Prayer of Jesus translated from the Aramaic. There's cards near your seat. Follow along. Father, Mother, Earther, and Breath of all, space inside us and fill it with your presence. Let oneness now prevail. Your one desire then flows through ours as energy fills all forms. Give us this day our physical and spiritual nourishment and untangle the knots of error that bind us as we release others. Do not let appearances make us forgetful of the source, but free us to act appropriately. From age to age, through you, flow the glorious harmonies of life. May these words be fertile statements through which our future grows. Amen, amen, and amen. And now it's time for the daily word, which is refresh. Honoring the divine presence within, I am refreshed. Stretching and yawning after a good sleep, enjoying a brisk walk in the early morning, or sipping a replenishing drink after a workout or time in the sun, I feel refreshed. I move forward into my next activity with a renewed feeling of well-being. Building upon and refreshing my knowledge may relieve me from thinking too much about my obligations. Spending time with a good book or revisiting favorite passages from my favorite writing can give me a relaxing mental pause. I find many opportunities to refresh my awareness that God, the divine presence, is within me wherever I am, whatever I am doing. It takes only a moment to find God's presence reflected in the people and animals I encounter and in the natural beauty that surrounds me. And from Romans 15:32, so that by God's will I may come to you with joy and be refreshed in your company. And the affirmation is, honoring the divine presence within, I am refreshed. Together? Honoring the divine presence within, I am refreshed. Next, the Unity Music Team will perform another song by Jesus Hernandez, You Are Blessed.
Come to me, to all Christ said, I'm the way, and you are blessed. Come to me, whose spirit is weary. Come to me, who are poor. Come to me, who thirst and hunger. Who weep for others, come to me. When others hate you, shun you, and profane your name, and reject you in my name, it is you who first will realize that heaven in you resides. Find the kingdom within you, and you are blessed. All your needs are satisfied, and you laugh again. Find the kingdom within you, and you are blessed. All your needs are satisfied, and you laugh again. Come to me, who are humble. Come to me, who you and proclaim your name and reject you in my name. It is you who first will realize in you reside. Find the kingdom within you, and you are blessed. All your needs are satisfied, and you laugh again. Find the kingdom within you, and you are blessed. All your needs are satisfied, and you laugh again. Rejoice and jump for joy. Praise your reward. Seek the source in one mind. Heaven inside you'll find. Rejoice and jump for joy. Praise your reward. Seek the source in one mind. Heaven inside you'll find. Come to me to all Christ said. Find the way and you are blessed.
Thank you. Thank you, Jesus and music team. It is a mixed bag, isn't it? I love that Jesus wrote on here, it's puppy kisses. Christ is puppy kisses. And it's also the grief we feel, isn't it? It's the mixed bag. And it's good to remember when we're in the grief that it's one of the ways that our hearts open and expand and deepen even more. So today we're going to have some laughter and we're going to have some serious moments. Is that okay?
Well, we turned up a little bit more.
Okay. And I'm here. How's this?
Well, that's good. You don't have to. If you do
I-
you don't have to hold it like
Who teach heart-connected public speaking know how to hold this mic. How's that? Not like an ice cream cone, but like this? Yes, we're discussing last week getting lapel mics or the headphones again, which, you know, I'm the one with the mic out here and I'm sweating it because it looks like... So first funny moment of this morning, I did a quick little video that I often do to say hello to people and tell them that we're setting up out here, getting ready for them. And today's message is You Are the Placebo. And I heard myself say, I'm speaking today on You Are the Placebo. So just in case there's any confusion, you are not the gazebo. You are the placebo. But let us take a deep breath and get ready for some time of silence. We're going to do something a little bit different today. And first I'd like to read something that was written by the Hopi after 9/11. And the writing is called The Wisdom of the Elders. You've heard it before. If you've been coming to this church very long, you've certainly heard it. This is about you and me. And it's about the part that you and I have and what's going on in the world today. So we take a deep breath. There is a river flowing now very fast. It is so great and swift that there are those who will be afraid. They will try to hold on to the shore. They will feel they are being torn apart and may suffer greatly. Know the river has its destination. The elders say we must let go of the shore, push off into the middle of the river, keep our eyes open and our heads above water, and see who's in there with us, and celebrate. At this time in history, we are to take nothing personally, least of all ourselves. For the moment that we do, our spiritual growth and journey comes to a halt. The time of the lone wolf is over. Gather yourselves. Banish the word struggle from your attitude and your vocabulary. All that we do now must be done in a sacred manner and in celebration, for we are the ones we've been waiting for. I invite you to breathe into that divine idea. You're the one that you have waited for your whole life. What is within you is the divine presence. The divine presence that is ready to fully arrive. The divine presence known by many names. You make a difference in the world. Your prayers of peace, your centeredness, your forgiveness, your understanding, all of that energy touches all those with whom you are connected. Your peace touches all those with whom you are connected, those living in physical, those living in non-physical. Your peace, your forgiveness, your healing presence touches all those towards whom you direct your peace. So this morning, as a part of our meditation, we're going to direct our peace towards a few folks who have had close beloveds pass recently. And we're going to speak their names, and we're going to have the candle going. And these are the names that we have for today. But for next Sunday and all the way through World Day of Prayer, we're going to have this table set up for you to write names of those you'd like to remember. And their names, too, will be sent to Unity Village for 30 more days of prayer. So today on the table, we have the names of Cassandra Salo, beloved of Dan Haynes, Joe Schilling, brother of Penny Schilling, Christopher Mack, son of Tammy Chose, Jesus Aurelio Hernandez, father of Jesus Hernandez, Donald L. Green, stepfather of Anton Noel Ruffo, Tom Jones, beloved husband of Dee Jones. As we hold in our consciousness in this moment peace for our world and peace for these beloveds, we think of them and our world in peace, in light,
in the divine idea that brokenness is healed. Brokenness is healed as we see our beloveds in peace. Peace for our world, peace for our beloveds. We see our beloveds, our world, our planet, all life on the planet, and the great light of peace. And we say, so it is, and so we let it be. Namaste. Deep breath. So as I said, next Sunday this table will still be up. You can write names of your beloveds and put them on the table. In the little basket there's pins, little cards, and we'll keep this up through Unity World Day of Prayer, which is September 14th. And I see Reverend Marilyn is here today. She has helped us spearhead all of that and pull it together. Thank you, Marilyn. Honey, can you hand me that sign-up sheet over on that table, please? Honey being David. Don't everybody jump up. Would you start passing that? What David is passing is the sign-up list. If you want to come on Thursday, September 14th, any hour of the day, but sign up for an hour, and be a healing presence, be a prayerful presence. People will be in here walking the labyrinth that's designed after the Shar Cathedral labyrinth, and we'll have socks for you. You can wear your own socks, of course, but it'll be set up here. The chairs will be pushed back, and we are just asking for volunteers to hold the names of the prayer requests that have been sent in to us. These names are precious. We hold them prayerfully. We pray all day, and people sign up for a different hour, different time slot, to be an energy holder. And you can walk the labyrinth all day long if you want to, anytime from 9:30 to 9 to 4:30. Walk at any time during the day. You can come here, have your lunch, have a silent retreat, walk the labyrinth, and then at 5 o'clock, the new moon ceremony folks will be here from Sea Yoga, and they'll be doing a new moon ceremony. We'll close out World Day of Prayer for the first time, doing it that way with a new moon ceremony. If you've been here for one, you know the young folks bring in a lovely energy, and the older folks do too. And I'll hear about that later. It's a beautiful energy, and it'll be a wonderful World Day of Prayer. So sign up for a slot if that inspires, if you're inspired to do so. So, again, the title of today's talk is You Are the Placebo. And it's from the book by Dr. Joe Dispenza. We've done this book here at this church in years past. It was written in 2009, so it's been out a little while. And we did a whole class. And Reverend Marilyn has been inspired to do the class again, to do it. And you know, anytime you re-look at a book, you see something new, right? And so it's wonderful research about the power of our minds, our brains, psychoneuroimmunology. We are beings that can help direct the health of our bodies, our thoughts, our world. So this idea that you are the placebo, and the hope you tell us we're the ones we've been waiting for. And Jesus said the kingdom of heaven is within you. And as we think, that's the way we are. It seems like there is a theme running throughout the endless ages that it's all about you. It's all about us, the collective consciousness that participates with the divine intelligence of the multiverses. Now, how much bigger does it have to get for us to be curious about this idea that life isn't happening to us, it's happening through us? We are participating. David Bohm, the quantum physicist, said, we're either participating in the unfolding of fear or we're participating in the unfolding of wholeness. And we can flip-flop back and forth about every 10 seconds, right? That's why we like to dance. So, who is present for every moment of your life?
I am.
Oh, good. Gervais is present for every moment of his life. The I am of you, the non-judgmental observer, the watcher, the Holy of Holies, is always present with you. This life, before this life, beyond this life, you can't shake it because it's you. It's a part of who you are. So you're present in every moment. You're also present in every event and every circumstance. The highest consciousness of you is present in everything. So what happens, we're so adorable, when an upsetting event happens, we often close the door to higher presence and we operate from the little committee that says, oh, this is so, so bad. It's very, very, very bad. And we're late. Yeah. The higher presence is saying, open the door, take a deep breath, remember who you are. Who you are goes beyond fear, beyond frustration, beyond anxiety, beyond confusion, beyond upsetness. Who you are is beyond all of that. Tap into that place before you speak. Tap into that place before you act. So, we're present in every moment. Our thoughts, our feelings, our emotions. That's the environment that we're living in. You know, this place can feel like paradise. This earth, this life can feel like paradise. We can walk into a place that feels like heaven, but if we bring into that place our upsetness, our judgmental observation with interpretations that create divisiveness and upsetness, if we walk in with that, we can watch everybody else experiencing heaven, but we're having a whole other experience that we might call what? Oh, y'all do say bad words in church. So, I've thought about the power of the human mind most of my life, haven't you? I've thought about the power of thought, belief, suggestion. I've thought about why prayer looks like it works sometimes and sometimes it looks like it doesn't. I've thought about why some people manifest cure and some don't. I've thought about how healing runs through every event of our lives. We may not manifest a cure for our bodies, but we're always working with healing. I've thought about this idea of placebo. So let me tell you what Dr. Joe says, just a little bit about placebos. And you know about placebos. It's not new information. But the idea of the placebo was The power of thought. This is not a new idea. This is ancient wisdom, the power of our thoughts. But the idea of placebos was new for the physicians of America. And during World War II, a medical doctor named Henry Beecher, who happened to be related to Harriet Beecher Stowe. That's just a little sidebar if y'all want to know stuff like that. You know who Harriet Beecher Stowe was, right?
Yes.
So Dr. Beecher was getting ready to operate on a badly wounded soldier, and he realized that they'd run out of morphine. And a nurse, who I find it interesting they don't give her name, but a nurse, without missing a beat, filled a syringe with saline and gave the soldier a shot. And within seconds of injecting him, he began to calm down and reacted as if he had just received morphine. The doctor did the surgery, sewed the soldier up. He never felt the pain, nor did he go into shock. Now let's just pause and think about that a minute. What was it that came over that nurse and gave her this audacious idea to do such a thing? To give saline water in the place of morphine.
A divine idea.
A divine idea, as if it would make a difference. I think a lot of us stop ourselves because we start conversing with the what if it doesn't help. But she must have been conversing with, what if it helps? What if this thought will help? What if this idea will help? It wasn't going to cause any harm. Dr. Beecher took notice of this, began to do research about it, and the idea of the placebo was born. The idea that we can believe a substance is going to help us, and in fact it can. So our thoughts get involved with the idea that something's going to be beneficial for us. So this doctor, Dr. Joe Dispenza, he had a need to look at the idea of the power of the mind. And I'll tell you about that in a moment. And he had this thought, what if people can take a sugar pill or get a saline injection and then believe that that's going to help, what if people begin to believe in themselves instead of something outside of themselves? What if people begin to believe in themselves? What if they believe that they can change something inside of them or move themselves to the same state of being as someone who's taken a placebo? In other words, what if I don't have to get the saline injection or the placebo pill, the sugar pill? What if I can direct the activity of the healing energies of my own cells? What if I can do that? This is not a new idea. Our co-founder, Myrtle Fillmore, directed the activity of her cells by telling her cells that they were healthy and that they were whole and that they had the power to bring a cure to her body, which in fact it was. After a lifetime of being sickly and tubercular, her TB was gone. So it's not a new idea. We can believe in the sugar pill, we can believe in the saline injection, we can believe in a shaman's blessing, we can believe in the anointing of a rabbi or a priest, we can believe in a medicine person's words of healing or laying on of hands, right?
Yes.
We can believe in the power of the deep breath, we can believe in the power of ceremony and ritual, we can believe in the power of forgiveness. It's a good idea, I think, from time to time to ask ourselves, what am I believing? What am I believing about myself? What am I believing about my world? If we believe that something will be helpful or beneficial, it seems there's a greater chance that our bodies will agree with us and remarkable outcomes can happen. Next Sunday, Anton's going to be our speaker, Anton Noel Ruffo. He's going to speak on pathways to self-healing, Reiki, and laying on of hands. And in the afternoon, from 1 to 3, they're going to do a Reiki share here in the pavilion. Now, the idea is that we enter into a believing consciousness with these practitioners who are there to channel healing energy, to direct healing energy, to be a healing presence with you as your cells and atoms participate in the unfolding of your wholeness. It's not a new idea. People enter into agreement all the time. What does it say in some of the scriptures where 2 or more are gathered? Yeah, where 2 or more agree together. This consciousness works within them and around them. We enter into agreement with ourselves, with others. We enter into an agreement when we come into this space we call unity. We enter into an agreement to open ourselves a little bit more, go a little bit higher or deeper, however you see that, how it's put together, into this awareness of our oneness with the all that is. We enter into oneness with one another and the all that is. We enter into an agreement. So I became very interested in the power of the mind. A lot of you have. Lifetimes, right? We've got tons of knowledge and experience in here with the mystery, don't we? The mystery of the way we're put together. So when we were living in Santa Barbara, we were both teaching at Santa Barbara City College. And I got wind of a conference that was getting ready to happen in LA. And it was a conference that Harvard Medical School was going to put on. They used to put on these wonderful conferences called Spirituality, Healing, and Medicine. And I wanted to go. So I went to my programmer at the time at Santa Barbara City College. I said, I'd love to receive that grant that they have for adjunct professors, and I'd like to go to this conference, and I'd like that $500 grant. She said, well, dear, your classes have to relate to the conference. I said, yes. And she said, well, you're teaching public speaking. So what does that have to do with spirituality, healing, and medicine? Well, I could have told her it has a lot to do with it. However, I said, well, what if I come up with a class that has to do with it? She said, okay. So the next day, I arrived with a proposal. And the proposal was a class called Writing on the Front of a Light Beam. And if that sounds familiar, it was a thought that Albert Einstein had when he was 15 years old. And he thought to himself, I wonder what it would be like to ride on the front of a light beam. I mean, you were thinking that at 15, right? And I used the film, some of you will remember it, called Mind Walk. And it was a film about a poet, a physicist, and a politician on Mont Saint-Michel in France. Just a conversation about how you see the universe as a poet, how you see the universe as a politician, and how you see the universe as a physicist. And I went in, I said, here's my proposal. She said, okay, the grant's yours. I said, yippee. I was supposed to be there because it was really easy to get that grant. I went to that conference in LA. Dr. Herb Benson, for those of you who've been studying this stuff for years and years, you know Herb Benson. He wrote The Faith Factor. He studied the meditators back in the 70s. He says, how are they able to lower their blood pressure? How are they able to lower their heart rate? Create a healthy heart rate? How are they able to lower their cholesterol? How are they able to de-stress their bodies and their minds? He studied them. Years pass, he becomes the chair of the Mind-Body Institute at Harvard. He was on to something, the Mind-Body Institute. This used to be new stuff back in the day. Now we talk about, oh yeah, mind-body connection, yeah. And yet we still don't get it. I still don't get it all the time, that my thoughts are having a direct impact on my life, my health, and my environment. Do y'all forget? No, you don't forget. So Herb Benson, he opened up the conference and he said, so here's the deal, folks. And this conference was full of physicians and scientists and researchers and psychotherapists and clergy and a few indigenous healers. And by the way, they opened up the conference with drumming. Herb Benson walks up and he says, for years, my friends, when there is an unexplained outcome, where a patient defies a verdict, where it looks like remission, doctors often would write only a placebo. He leaned across the podium, he looked at all these learned professionals, and he said, my God, what have we done? Because what they were doing was discounting the power of the mind, discounting the power of a person's beliefs and feelings and emotions in their healing process. The voice of power and authority, who says words to us like, you have the healing power within you. You have the capacity to move through this upsetting event with strength and understanding and peace. But he was letting those physicians know that they'd also done some malpractice, psychological malpractice, by telling people that they would never get better and that they would only get worse. David had that happen to him. When the doctor told him he'd never get better, he'd only get worse, and David jumped up and said, you're fired. Walked out. So when we're the placebo, sometimes we have to fire the voices that tell us that something is impossible. Again, Myrtle Fillmore talked to herself. So what are we saying when we talk to ourselves? And we might be consciously talking to ourselves, but what do we say when we talk to ourselves? So for a lot of us, the conversations cannot be repeated. Not on live stream from a church service. So Charles Fillmore said this. He said, the great work is to do the will of the higher consciousness and to listen, to be shown what to do, because we're broadcasting our thoughts and we're receiving thoughts and energy, and we have to pay attention to every thought, emotion, and feeling, because we're building the temple of our bodies and our world. Holy smokes. So, Joe Dispenza. Here's a little bit of his story, and when you sign up for the Zoom class, that starts October 10th, by the way, with Reverend Marilyn. You're going to have this whole book. It's full of research, full of great ideas on how our minds work. And whether you accept it all or not, that's okay. His story is enough to know and consider. So he was in a triathlon. He had already done the swimming part. He was in the bicycling part. And he was hit by an SUV. Broke 6 vertebrae, fractures in a thoracic 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12, and lumbar 1, ranging from shoulder blades to his kidneys. The 8th thoracic vertebra, the top segment that he broke, was more than 50% collapsed, and the neural arch, the circular ring that contains and protects the spinal cord, was broken and pushed together like a pretzel. He needed surgery, and he was told by 3 different well-known, considered the best surgeons that he needed to have the Harrington rod implanted. And he declined. Now, here's the deal. He was young. He was like 25. He's a trained chiropractor. Had a practice in La Jolla, California. He knew anatomy. He knew how the body worked. And he made a decision. He said, I decided against the medical model and the expert recommendations. They were telling him that if he didn't get the Harrington rods, he would likely never walk again. He said, I realize that I believe there's an intelligence, an invisible consciousness within each of us, and that's the giver of life. It supports, maintains, protects, and heals us every moment. It creates almost 100 trillion specialized cells, starting from only 2. Think about that. That's divine mathematics. Start with 2, you end up with 100 trillion. It keeps our hearts beating, this divine intelligence, beating a little more than 100,000 times per day, and it can organize hundreds of thousands of chemical reactions in a single cell in every second, among many other amazing functions. Like he had to add that. I reasoned at the time that if this intelligence was real, that's the first decision you have to make. I realized this amazing intelligence was real, and if it willfully, mindfully, and lovingly demonstrated such amazing abilities, maybe I could take my attention off my external world and begin to go within and connect with that divine intelligence and develop a relationship with it. And he did so. And he's not only walking again, he's written several books. He's teaching other people how to harness the power of their minds. So let's take a deep breath. What if it's true? And what if it's true that we've only touched a little bit of our understanding about the power of our minds? And what if, when we listen in silence, meditation, prayer, we're making ourselves available to receiving even more information, to be informed even more deeply by this divine intelligence? What if it's true? Joe Dispenza took a life event that is probably one of the hardest kinds of life events, and he was pretty much given the idea that he'd never walk again. So he had to make another decision. So when we look out at the world, we look at the world of politics, of presidential elections, of inflation, of viruses, of, you know the list. When we look at all that, do we begin to unroll the reel of pictures, R-E-E-L, the reel of pictures of the potential hazardous and upsetting outcomes? Because we have those reels, you know, they run. Or are we going to be a presence of placebo? Are we going to be like a homeopathic, dropping our spiritual wisdom and understanding into the collective? Are we going to be that kind of presence? So he set out to cooperate with this divine intelligence. He cooperated with it. He not only started walking again, he realized this wasn't just for himself, it was for all those that he could teach. So what happens when life brings us a moment that feels like we'll break? We've all had them, right? What do we do with those moments? So I want to close with talking a little bit about a process. You've heard about this before too. I've talked about it, but I was reading a Buddhist magazine several days ago called Lion's Roar, and there's the greatest article. It was entitled, "How to Make a Spectacular Mistake." Isn't that great? Already you can see the placebo effect. You know, oh, I made a mistake. Or, oh, I made a spectacular mistake. Artists, musicians, you know, you make a mistake and then it turns out to be something better, right? So this article is about the process called kintsugi, Japanese process, where highly skilled people who make pottery, they create even more skill by repairing broken pottery and using lacquer and dusting and burnishing with powdered gold. They lovingly repair the broken piece of pottery, and it becomes even more honored and prized for the imperfections that have been restored and repaired. Now that'll preach, won't it? Isn't that a great teaching? So we look at our lives, we feel like there's broken places. We've all got them. And we go through the grief and we feel the sorrow. We will. That's Jesus' song, Puppy Kisses and Grief. What if we looked at our lives, the broken places, the alleged mistakes, the turns and twists? What if we look at them as being dusted and burnished with gold and repaired in a loving way so that the imperfection becomes something that's prized and valued? Is that possible? That's being a true presence of the placebo. Looking for God, or looking for the good, or looking for the divine outcomes in things that appear to be upsetting. So let's take a deep breath. What if it's true? What if it's true that we're the ones we've been waiting for? What if it's true that we have within us this divine and holy presence that can become an energy of healing and peace in our own bodies, in the world, and for those that we hold in consciousness? We breathe into this divine idea. And if it feels good for you, just within your own heart, just say yes to your own divine wisdom. Yes, yes, yes. And so it is, and so we let it be. Namaste. Oh, I just looked at Gervais and I mouthed, "I'm going to take the offering." And you all clapped and you said, "Yay!" No, I'm going to take it, Gervais. I'm going to take it, Gervais. I'm going to do it. I'm going to practice. Okay. I need to practice. Yeah. I've been in ministry for, I don't know, since 81. I need some practice.
We all need practice.
We all need practice. So y'all, what a wonderful thing that we get to be out here together and we get to do this thing called building the energy of peace and unity and healing in the world. What a great thing. What a wonderful thing. I want to give thanks today for all the people who come out and help, all the people who, Dan was out here yesterday weed whacking and pushing the lawnmower. Gervais was out here, can't remember what day it was now. Seems like we were out here every day last week. Tuesday. Mowing, there's people out here weeding, there's people out here working with the daylilies. The people were out here this morning harvesting from Burgess Community Garden. And you'll see at the potluck today, there's a big basket of okra and peppers, and Darylyn put on it, help yourself, take some home. Today, I have to just say that my potluck contribution is gluten-free noodles with basil and tomatoes from the gardens out here. I made pesto because pesto heals you of everything. Everything. So that's on the potluck table. I want to tell you that part of our tithe this month went to the folks in Maui, the many folks that they're feeding in Lahaina. And thank you, Penny, for directing us to that group. And want to remind you about the table to write the names of your beloved. And of course, Penny's brother's name is on the table today. He was in Lahaina. So I want to give thanks. I want to give thanks for the gardeners, the mowers, the repair people, the people who write your checks, you send in your donations, you tithe. I feel we're creating something beautiful here. And when we do our offering, and honey, just one second, honey, our tithe check is in that canvas bag. It's just loose in there, if you'll just get that. So when I was writing my tithe check this morning, when you all give me my paycheck and I endorse it on the back, I write gratefully received. And when I write my tithe check back, I write gratefully given. I've seen this little church do this, go through these kinds of moments, you know, the ups and downs. Every church does. A lot of you have been here longer than me. And this coming April, I'll be here 19 years. It's gone by like that, y'all. It's gone by like that, hasn't it? And yet those of us who've been watching the growth and the deepening of this place, we know how much spiritual growth has happened. So yes, we buy land, and yes, we make gardens, and yes, we are planning the new sanctuary, and yes, we just love this place. We want to pause now and then and remember those who've been a part of this church community since 1986 and setting intention to be a presence of unity in the world. So we have the vision, and then we manifest a vision, and then we do what? We maintain the vision. So all of your help is important, and it's appreciated, and it's essential. And it's not only help, it's the idea of growing community and doing what our name invites us into, growing unity. There was one woman out here last week, I don't know if she's here today, there was one woman out here last week helping with Burgess Garden who read about it in the newspaper. So Darylyn got a newspaper article, read about it in the newspaper, and came to help. You know, never been to a Unity church, never been. So you never know what good is going to come from this little thing, this little place, this small 5.5 acres. It's a tiny spot in the universe, but you can bet on the universal map it says they are there. So thank you for participating in the unfolding of our good. And as you take your tithes, your offerings, your donations in your hands right now as the band gets ready to play Down the River, what's written by Penny Schilling. As you give your tithe and offering, your donation, I know some of you mail it in, but as you put it, just bless the offering plate with knowing that our good is unfolding. And we may not know all the details, but we know our good continues to unfold, and you're a part of that. And we say thank you, thank you, thank you. So we bless your tithes and offerings. We bless all the givers and all the ways that the good would unfold through these offerings. And we say, so it is, and so we let it be. Namaste. Okay, down the river.
How about, let's go full gospel here.
Full gospel.
Stand up, everybody. I want clapping.
They're going to give their offerings. They need to not stand up yet. I am being a minister now. Give them a chance.
Okay, quit stomping, clapping. This
Okay,
is
there
full
you go.
gospel. We all have things we need to release and let go of. This is my major therapy song. So. Let it flow down the river, let it flow. Let it flow down the river, let it flow. What's stopping? Take your worries and your frets, all your sorrows and regrets. Let it flow down the river, let it flow. Let it flow. Let it flow down the river, let it flow. Oh, let it regrets. Take me down to the river. Let it go, let it go. I'm standing on the bridge, watching, just watching all the troubles float away. While listening to the sound, turn yourself around and watch when the water breaks. Bring it on, bring it on, bring it on, bring it on. Let it move right through your soul. The past is gone, don't hold on. Let it go. Back to the bridge. You are standing on the bridge, watching, just watching all the troubles flow away. While listening to the sound, turn yourself around and watch where you are going. Bring it on, bring it on, bring it on, bring it on, bring it on. Let it move right through your soul. The past is gone, don't hold on. Let it go. The past is gone. The past is gone, don't hold on. Let it go, let it go, let it go.
Okay, y'all can be seated. I think today is Hawaiian country gospel Pentecostal.
Well, and even our Hopi
Unity.
Indian,
So-
our Hopi Indian said that in what you read. The Hopi Indian was talking about the river.
The river, I know, the river. Okay, y'all, we bless these offerings. We bless the good energy. We bless all the good thoughts that are being held for this place that we call Unity Myrtle Beach. We give thanks for the blessings in the lives of all those here, all those we're thinking of, and in this place. We say, so it is, and so we let it be. Namaste. Yay! Thank you. So we want to say welcome to everyone, and also especially to first-time visitors. I know I've met a few of you before service. If you'd like to stand and say your name and where you're visiting from, please do. Yes?
Sue from Surfside Beach.
Sue from Surfside Beach. All righty. We'll see if you've come the farthest. You get the prize if you did. Yes, ma'am.
Olivia, and I'm from North Myrtle Beach.
Olivia, North Myrtle Beach. You may get the extra piece of dessert at potluck. Okay. Anybody else? First-time visitor? Okay. So please know that you are so welcome. There's packets up here for first-time visitors if you'd like more information. There is the September month at a glance. It's been spread on the chairs around you. Lots of great things coming up. It's also on the back table. Everyone's invited to potluck today, whether you brought something or not. All are welcome. It's all set up in the barn, and you're welcome to eat in there or under a shade tree or come back in here where there's AC, but everybody's welcome. Your prayer box is over here on this table. You can put your request in it, and there are special request forms that Reverend Marilyn and Abby created. This request form with your prayers will go into our prayer box and be sent to our prayer team, but they'll also be used for our Unity World Day of Prayer, September 14th here. All-day prayer vigil going on. And then they'll be sent to Unity Village for 30 more days. So there's also flyers over here on the table about the World Day of Prayer. Wednesday the 13th, it's virtual from Unity Village. One of our visitors told me she went to Unity Village. That's virtual Wednesday night, but then all day Thursday is here in person. So these flyers are over on this table. Where are these flyers? On that table. Yay! They're listening. I'm so happy. Okay, tomorrow evening is First Monday Song Circle. Anton Knoll and Dave McComb will be here. Bring your music, your instruments, your songs. Tuesday evening Metaphysics is now closed for the previous book study, and starting October 10th, Reverend Marilyn will do You Are the Placebo. So you've got time to order the book, start reading it, memorize all the research. It will be on the test. Wednesday book group here, I'm facilitating Unity's 5 Principles, and that's every Wednesday here, 12 to 1:30, except when we're having hurricanes possibly coming. We didn't meet last Wednesday. Okay, and this Thursday evening, the 7th of every month, is the fire ceremony. So this Thursday is September 7th, and Anton Knoll will be facilitating that fire ceremony. And then next Sunday, Anton will be our speaker. And again, Pathways to Healing, Reiki and laying out of hands, and then in the afternoon, 1 to 3, a Reiki share. So I know some of you will be participating in that as Reiki givers, Reiki receivers, and it's going to be a lovely afternoon. So I would also like to tell you that there's one person who has a September birthday. So there's one Libra? John Wilder. Where's John? Oh, he's counting money. So tell him happy September birthday. Okay, y'all, let's take a deep breath. Thank you for being a part of our celebration today. Hope you can stay for potluck. We're going to say our updated prayer inspired by James Dillett Freeman, Unity's Poet Laureate. And it's on the cards around your chairs. Together, the light of God surrounds us, the presence of love enfolds us, the power of peace protects us, and the one presence that lives within all creation enlivens us. Wherever we are, love is, peace is, light is, God is, and all is well. And remember, the pens and cards are over here if you want to put someone's name on the table, remembering our beloveds who have passed. All right, y'all, let's stand for our peace song, and then let's go chow down. Let there be peace.
Yes, it begins with me. Yes, there is peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be. With God as Creator, united all are we. Yes, we walk with each other in perfect harmony. Yes, peace begins with me. Yes, this is the moment now. With every step I take, yes, this is my joyous vow. To take each moment and live